If your team is more than just you, these are some of the things that you're going to want to do right away to get your account ready so that you can get the maximum benefit. So first, what we want to do is go up to the settings in the upper right corner, and you're going to notice your company pin here. Employees are going to need that, and you're going to need it for support. And so you're going to want to make sure you remember that, or you know where it is. And then let's set a time zone. So I'm in Eastern time zone, but you've got lots of options here. Optionally, you can do the daylight savings time adjustment if that applies to where you are located, and then choose the employee module. So you can leave them all on for right now and they will show up on the employee screen, or you can turn some of them off and go down to the bottom and save, and employees will not see those. So it's just kind of like what makes sense for your business, and making sure that you set that up as soon as it makes sense for you. And then you want to choose an overtime rule. So right now I'm on daily. Right now there is weekly and daily as an option. Those are the most common overtime rules, and anything further than that will be coming more towards summer. This is current as of February of 2026, this demo. And then GPS is here, so make sure you've turned that on or off, whether it makes sense or not for you. This does only record punch location at the time of punch. There is no tracking going on. And then you've got your project templates, but those are for another time. So if you've got your settings saved or your settings ready to go, hit save settings, and then you're all set. So that's got the account set up with the very initial required items to really, like I said, maximize the benefit. Now the next thing you want to do is add employees. So if you don't have employees, this won't apply to you, but adding employees is done through Manage People. And the main difference at the time of this video between an admin and an employee is an admin will have access to billing type of information. They don't have the ability to punch from the employee screen, but they do have the ability to punch with these start and end buttons here. So really, admins and employees at this point, it's mostly billing that's the difference, but that's getting further built out as the software progresses. And so we went to manage employees, and here we go. So we can type in an employee number here. I'm just going to do a single digit, but make sure it makes sense for you. You can mix letters and numbers together, but just realize that if you want to use kiosk mode, you will need to have numbers only in the employee ID, so take that into account when you're setting up. And this is a test account, so I'm going to make this ultra easy for us to remember things. I'm just going to type in a name here, and then password. Again, you want to make this more complicated for you and your employees, but I'm just typing in something to keep it easy to remember for testing. So add employee. And now you'll see my employee is there. And this is also where you'd want to go to reset their password. You can reset password here. You can deactivate and inactivate. This is going to make it the ability for them to log in, a challenge, of course, if they're deactivated. And the reason you'd want to do that is if someone is no longer with you in the company and you don't want them logging into their account anymore, you want to make sure you do that. Or if they're seasonal employees, you might just not want them to be billed going forward, so you want to make sure you do that. And then delete would be if you are absolutely positive that they will never be with your company again, you can just all around delete them. And then admin works the same way, except you're going to use an email address and a temporary password. Now admins log in with an email and password, and so when they do that, they have the ability to click forgot password and to adjust it as needed. And so that is the way that you add employees to get started. And then if I now take you over to the actual employee login, you'll be able to see how this works. So we just added name emp number 3. So like I said, you will need your PIN, and this is employee 3. And let's type in our password, sign in. And now we're in, and this is the employee screen. So we'll go through this a little bit more in another video, but you have the employee now, and as you can see, you left all modules on, so every single one of them is showing. If you wanted to deactivate any of those, you would just go into settings and save, and then the employee screen is not affected at all. It just simply shows them less modules or none if you just want to focus on the time piece.